Good evening. So, bunch of interesting news came out today. A little bit has came out on what Biden plans to speak to the UN about, but I think that they're likely going to save the goodies for when he does speak. And I don't know if he did today, because I think they said that it's possible today, but I haven't seen anything. There's been so much in the news that if he did speak today, it could have easily been overshadowed. So I'll look into that to see if he did speak yet or what. I do know that I put out an article that was talking about some of the stuff he was going to. So, but that is not it's not what's bothering me so much right at this particular moment. And by the way, I did see your first blog, BC, and yeah, I liked it. It looked really good. Formatted nice. I looked at it right before I brought the show up. I'm concerned about this whole National Guard thing. Now, right now, and we're going to get to the article, but right now, most people are just aware of Massachusetts. Well, there's a city not far from us, Granite City, that looks like they are looking heavily into having the National Guard drive school buses there as well. Let me show you real quick the article out of Massachusetts. And this is, this is, in my opinion, a precursor to something much, much worse. Massachusetts governor deploys 250 National Guard troops to drive school buses amid driver shortage. And it's kind of a short article. We'll read it real quick. A shortage of school bus drivers in Massachusetts is so severe that Governor Charlie Baker has called on the state's National Guard troops to help get children to class. Baker announced on Monday that as many as 250 members of the Massachusetts National Guard will be made available to drive school bus routes. Driver training was scheduled to start on Tuesday for 90 Guard troops in the cities of Chelsea, Lawrence, Lowell, and Lynn. As with any school transportation worker, all activated Guard personnel will complete vehicle training to ensure the safety of the children and families, Baker said. He added that the troops will meet all statutory requirements to drive so-called 7D transport vans and will comply with all health and safety measures, which you know what that means, correct? The help will come quickly. The Lowell School District reportedly expects 15 Guard members to be available to drive bus routes by the end of this week, and they'll stay on the job until enough permanent drivers can be hired to fill vacant positions. School districts across the U.S. have struggled to hire enough bus drivers, even as millions of Americans remain unemployed amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Districts in Helena, Montana, and Savannah, Georgia are offering $4,000 bonuses to new drivers, while a grade school in Delaware is paying parents $700 per student for driving their own children to and from school. Driver shortages are common in normal times, but the pandemic exacerbated the issue as many workers retired or found other careers being furloughed when classes were moved online last year. The Boston Globe reported that more than 1,200 buses ran late in the city last Thursday, the first day of the school year. Baker insisted that the bus driving mission won't interfere with the National Guard's ability to respond to other types of emergencies in the state. Well, interesting, isn't it, that one of the major reasons why they're short on bus drivers is not even mentioned. However, they did make sure to mention that, they will, how was it that they worded it? Here we go. And will comply with all health and safety measures, which means, roll up your sleeve and put on your muzzle. So, interesting. interesting. Now, like I say, it kind of hits a little more close to home because we have them talking about it, and I don't know if I actually put that out. Hang on, let me check my history here, and I believe it was Camo V that I saw the article on. Okay, 1 second. I'll Google through it. And here we go. I thought I had this up and I didn't. Sorry. Could the National Guard solve the school bus driver shortage? This is out of a local St. Louis station. And it says across the St. Louis region and around the country, bus driver shortages are impacting many school districts. In an effort to overcome the problem, the governor of Massachusetts is calling out 250 members. We already talked about that. The Granite City Community Unit School District number 9 is one of the hardest hit districts in the region because of a severe shortage of bus drivers. The district is not providing bus service to students in grades 5 through 12 except for special education students. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's essentially saying that they're looking into doing the same thing. And I would imagine that you're going to see these stories popping up across the nation, largely because there are a lot of people resisting this. They're not going to say that, though. They're not going to say that. I kind of wonder myself how many National Guard are going to be willing, because we have yet to see what's going to happen with this. U.S. military branches set mandatory vaccine deadlines after Pentagon requires jabs for all troops. Now, this is, the 4 main branches. This isn't the National Guard or anything like that. That I do believe would be a state thing. However, with this, they have decided that they have to be fully vaccinated. Active Army personnel would be required to be fully vaccinated by December 15th. I don't know if they're all December 15th or what, but nonetheless, Marines and Navy by November 28th, okay? Reservists have until December 28th. That's the Marines and Navy. I don't know. Air Force, let's see. Air Force set a November 2nd date for active duty, while other personnel was given a December 2nd deadline. So that's what's going on. There were hard deadlines that have been set in the military now. So again, this doesn't cover National Guard, but one's got to ask, how many are just going to walk away? So I think they're trying to use those little bitty round band-aids that nobody knows what the hell they'd be good for. Yeah, those little bitty round band-aids. Yeah, they're trying to cover a gaping wound with those little bitty stupid round band-aids that they throw in there so they can say there's 1,000 in the box. So this is also concerning on a different level for me. And that's why I put on the thumbnail of tonight's show to Google Operation Mountain Guardian. And there's a specific reason why I did not do that, because I wanted to do it right here with you. And I've done this on the show before, multiple times. And this goes back to 2011. And I'm kind of shocked to see 2021. Wait a minute. What is this? Community training on response skills. Mountain Guardian, I guess. This is something totally different, though. I think. Okay. I just wanted to check that out because I was going to say a 2021 link. Wow. You're normally going to find like 2011 references to what I'm talking about. There are many, many references that you can use. This being one of them here, which is right from Homeland. Oh, well, this is Homeland Security Newswire. I don't know what the hell that is. Fort Drum. You can find this all over if you just Google it. And yes, you will find Alex Jones links. It is what it is. That was one of the things that he absolutely told the truth on, okay? I don't know if this is going to be the actual one. No, Mountain Garden Academy. No, I think, yeah, that's something different. But what it essentially was is they took a bunch of kids out of school without even the parents' knowledge that they were doing it. And they ran a drill. And they took them to a football stadium. This was in Denver. They took them to a football stadium. And they more or less were simulating some type of a major disaster or terrorist event or something like that, to where they would have to, evacuate people. They would have to gather up the kids from the schools and get them in a safe place and all that. So they took them to the stadium, and then they had not the real parents, because remember, as I said, the real parents weren't told about this. They had crisis actor parents. They had fake parents that were there and that were playing the roles of trying to get their children. And in many cases, other cases, it's been reported that they're like parents that were like with children, and they like separated the parents from the children and all of that. All of this stuff you can look into. Operation Mountain Guardian. And it's horrifying to me. And it's been something that I have been, I won't let it go. I won't let it go out of my head, because that, just the idea of that. I know what it is to have your kids taken from you and not get to see them. I know exactly what it's like. I know what the hell is that it is. I don't want people to go through that, especially when it involves the government. I mean, my situation involves I'll not say what I want to say. I'll say an ex-wife, and it is what it is. That's not as bad as the government withholding. You know what I'm saying? Is in with everything going on right now. So, at least I know my kids are remotely okay. If they're taken away by government and you're not allowed to see them, who knows what's going on? I am concerned. I am concerned that they're moving closer to this. Because look, there are a lot of people that have been saying no, right? So what's the next step if they collect up the children and not let the parents have them until the parents go through with the procedure? I'm not saying that that's what they plan to do, or that's what but I got to ask the question. I have to ask the question. I don't like this one bit, and I don't see it getting any better. I've got another article that I pulled up that says thousands of LAPD cops and staff seek religious exemptions from COVID-19 vaccine mandate. How well is that going to work? I mean, it sounds good on the surface, right? Once you understand the military, that their religious exemptions really aren't much of an exemption. If you want to call that an exemption or an out, okay, but not really. I don't know that they're going to be allowed to take those exemptions, because Even some of the airlines, I can't remember which one in particular, but had come forward and said that anybody that tries to pull the religious exemption would be put on unpaid leave. Unpaid leave. Okay? So that essentially means that they probably couldn't draw unemployment, and they're not going to be getting any money from the employer. So, and that's they flat out said that that's what they were going to do to people that claimed religious exemption. Now we're talking about Los Angeles here, California, you know. So I don't know how well that's going to fly. What's going to happen? I watched I believe it was this morning's video that BC did. And he was talking about them noticing limits there locally where he's at, and then, you know, prices, of course, going up. Even the mainstream news is starting to really talk about everything from prices to going up to even the supply chain issues. We were watching regular broadcast over-the-air news this morning, and they were talking about it. I was like, wow, they're actually talking about this stuff. Get ready to hold on tight, because I think there are going to be labor shortages like you would never imagine. And I think it's going to affect most every industry. I think there's going to be plain out supply issues. There's going to be logistic issues on getting the items that do manage to get built or imported to the different places for sale. I really do not see this going a good place. And all the while, the government seems to be ever more trying to squash its thumb down on top of us. And like I say, it's not a good situation to be in. Now, I had wondered, you know, if they have these major driver shortages in a lot of school districts, I don't think there's going to be enough National Guard to fill those spots. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling there's more school bus drivers than there's National Guard members. I'm not sure. Could probably look it up, but not sure on that. But probably not a good idea to have 100% of your National Guard deployed to driving school buses, unless you wanted to pre-position them, because that would be a hell of a way of doing it, would it not? I am concerned. There are a lot of things, and you're going to see in the headlines today, there are a lot of things going on that certainly indicate some troubled times ahead. Then there was another article, and I've got it brought up too, and it was concerning to me as well. A U.S. top general secretly called China over fears Trump could spark a war, says the report. So apparently this dude claims he was concerned that Trump might try to start a war with China right, you know, the last moments of his presidency. And so he claims that he had contacted China and told them that he would give them a heads up if he heard anything about that. Well, if that's true, this man should be behind bars. I mean, plain and simple, that's treason. That is absolute treason. I don't know what the hell's going on, folks. But these stories like this are huge. They really are. They're enormous. The Marines should have been in there arresting this guy a long time ago. Why aren't they? For that regard, why aren't they arresting Biden for ignoring the Supreme Court? I mean, these are real things that are happening, that they're no doubt happening. And to my knowledge, are arrestable offenses. I mean, treason, that's a given. But I'm pretty sure that a sitting president isn't supposed to completely disobey the Supreme Court. I'm pretty sure that's a no-no. There is no control from we the people of this government. Not even in the micro. Not really. That's why it's imperative as individuals that we get prepared. And then we try as individuals to build groups. Just do what you can. Because I don't see how this is going to turn around. I don't see how it can. Already, even if they stop their nonsense now, we're already in such a bad way. I don't think we could economically pull out of it. But that's only one factor. We're in such a bad way socially in this country. I don't think that we could unite without first being pressure relief, if you will. Not good. Not good. And the sad thing is a whole lot of it is engineered. Especially the division. Like I've said, we need to focus on bottom up. Bottom up. Build ourselves as individuals, build ourselves as families, build yourselves as blocks in areas of your town, communities. Build. Build as much and as quick as you can. And isn't that pretty much what Noah did? We don't have that disaster coming, but we've got one coming. Our boat needs to be designed a little differently. I'm telling you, it's not looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and roll in the headlines. I'm gonna make a kind of an easy night of it, because there's quite a few headlines, but it's what they are that are kind of concerning. Let me get this brought back up here. And not sure, I don't think I've got any updates as far as stuff we've got going on. Pretty much don't. I don't know, I spent a lot of time today kind of just keeping an eye on things. Like I say, there was a fair amount of headlines. The content of them is what was kind of concerning for me. And we did cover a lot of that, but not all of it. Let's see. Poorly designed Walgreens COVID test registry left sensitive data on millions of patients unprotected, says reports. Western Army's illegal presence in Syria undermining hopes for peace in the region, Putin says in surprise Moscow meeting with Assad. South Korean regulator slaps Google with $177 million fine for antitrust violations and abusing market dominance. China expands global dominance in 5G technology. Let's see. Are Russia and Belarus gearing up for conflict with the West? Hysterical pundits are sounding alarms while ignoring NATO war games. China's COVID-19 cases soar ahead of week-long national holidays. Some infections are vaccine-busting Delta. A Russian ruble makes top 20 popular currencies list. Putin to self-isolate after COVID-19 case confirmed in entourage, Kremlin says, as Russian president moves major meetings online. Laos may be the next country to legalize cryptocurrencies. UK's already hard-hit travel sector to see even more jobs culled. Industry body warns, slams government tourism policies. A new statue of communist Red Terror chief in Crimea sparks anger from Russian Orthodox Church over persecution of Christians. Premier League could bar fans from stadiums unless they provide COVID status, despite UK government scrapping passport plans. And it kind of makes me wonder if they're just kind of sneakily doing the same thing that they're doing over here, if they're kind of now just doing it to where it makes it look like it's from, the private business end of it instead of the government end of it. Because it's really hard for the governments to get away with doing it. It really, truly is. Australia is just whack. Still no need for Nord Stream 2. European gas prices hit decade high due to shortage of supply. Israeli anti-vax activist dies of COVID-19 after accusing police of poisoning him in assassination attempt. UK postpones introduction of post-Brexit import checks, giving businesses more time to recover from pandemic. Czech President Milo Zeman hospitalized, condition unknown. Philippines Duarte orders officials to get his consent before attending Senate probes, accused of trying to ward off scrutiny. Pardon me. War with Russia and China would destroy the world, and America must find ways to make peace with its eastern rivals, a top U.S. general warns. Let's see. Obscenely out of touch, AOC stirs controversy with statement making tax the rich outfit at annual Met Gala event. Let's see. Steve Wozniak's space venture seemingly set to focus on cleaning up garbage Bezos, Branson, and Musk leaves behind. UK to offer booster COVID jabs for over 50s, care home residents, and healthcare workers ahead of bumpy winter. Let's see. I'm not going to say what she called her. Rapper Nicki Minaj unloads on MSNBC's Joy Reid after vaccine tweet about swollen testicles. And if you think what I did say is bad, what she called Joy Reid, wow. Let's see. Francis Macron wants oversight body for police conduct, vows to double law enforcement presence in public. Let's see. Austria won't accept any fleeing Afghan refugees as long as I'm in power, Chancellor Kurz vows. Prosecution witness in Netanyahu's corruption trial killed as his plane crashes in Greece. Russia unveils combat robots that can take down tanks without putting soldiers in harm's way as part of massive Zapad war games. I don't know how that's pronounced. Zapad, I have no idea. Potato, Zapad, yeah, there we go. Zapado. Biden will push global leaders to vaccinate 70% of the world at upcoming summit. That's what I was telling you about earlier, but I think there's a whole lot of stuff that they're leaving out. Let's see, by the way, if they say again where he's or when. Biden will host a virtual summit next week. Got to be sometime next week. So we'll see. He's got a lot of time to make crap up between now and then. Let's see. Let's see how Sputnik 5 works in real life. Putin reveals he had close contact with COVID-19 infected person for a whole day. Man arrested in Germany on suspicion of illegally exporting equipment for Iran's nuclear program. I'm pretty sure that's frowned upon. A little bit. UK would not have green-lighted French Valneva COVID vaccine, Health Secretary says, after contract cancelled. Scientists want to resurrect the woolly mammoth. They just got $15 million to make it happen. Nah, it's not like deja vu or nothing, is it? Nobody possibly warned of what could happen. Let's see. Is it okay to buy a fake COVID-19 vaccine certificate? Almost a third of Russians think it's perfectly fine, a new survey reveals. That's kind of surprising to me. Africa left behind as less than 3.5% vaccinated against COVID-19, WHO chief says. Backing up to this for a second, I wonder if this could be propaganda to set, a backstory or precedent as to why they need to go to some digital method so it could be, more verified than a piece of paper. Even though we can't even require an ID to vote. Nah, I don't know. Let's see. University in New York draws flack for inconsistent approach to free speech after defending professor's controversial 9/11 tweets. Chokeholds and no-knock police entries banned under new DOJ policy in bid to build public trust. And if you read the, if you actually read the article and read it, yeah, it's really not changed. It's it's pretty much the exact same thing. So, all they have to do is say, I was in fear for my life, or I would be in fear for my life, or this may be an unsafe thing, and boom, they can do it. That's all they got to do. Have you seen them have a problem with making those statements? I haven't. Comes right out of their mouth. Just bam. Why? Because it's trained. Just like the stop resisting, even if somebody's not resisting. Yeah, they're trained to scream stop resisting, because then they can inflict as much pain as what they want, and it makes it look legitimate because they're screaming stop resisting, whether they're resisting or not. The problem is when there's a camera on and you can actively see that somebody's just not resisting whatsoever. Yeah. Another subject, another day. Let's see. Talked about that. Haiti's top prosecutor seeks charges after PM over president's assassination. Google's Moscow office raided by bailiffs looking to collect $400,000 in fines, but lawyers say they must go to the U.S. to get money. Millions more Americans fell into poverty in 2020 as COVID-19 lockdowns wrecked the U.S. economy, census report shows. A book describes General Milley as a hero who saved U.S. from Trump, but actually shows him colluding with the CIA, NSA, Pelosi, and China. We talked about that a little bit. 1 in 7 vaccinated Americans have dumped friends who disagree with them on COVID-19 jabs, a poll shows. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, they're ripping families apart with this. I mean, it goes way beyond just people losing jobs. People are losing families over this. Seems like there's a book that talks about that. Derek Chauvin and 3 other ex-cops plead not guilty in federal case over violating George Floyd's civil rights. Irish regulator launches 2 investigations into TikTok for handling of children's personal data and transfers to China. Gates Foundation warns about future pandemic threats as COVID-19 response continues to snarl world economy. We need to get this guy, I don't know, we need to send him with a few others like Bezos and all that. We need to put him on a space mission. That's what we need to do. We need to have an experiment, right? A billionaire experiment, a billionaire space exploration experiment. And the experiment is to see how many billionaires could survive a rocket slamming into the moon at, I don't know, 1 billion miles an hour. I mean, scientifically, we need to know. A senator rips top diplomat after he admits he doesn't know if U.S. drone strike killed Afghan aid worker or ISIS-K terrorist. By the way, I find that, wondering how many billionaires would survive that, actually more interesting and important than the mating between piss ants. I don't know. Let's see. Talked about that. Virginia fears Afghanistan evacuees may have exposed locals to measles, but says high vaccination rate means no reason for panic. And we talked about that. And we talked about that. UK bars Chinese ambassador from Parliament reception, citing sanctions against MPs by Beijing. And Trump says, and I can say this one, Trump says dumbass General Milley should be tried for treason if fake report he warned China of attack was true. So Trump's saying he doesn't believe that it was true, and if it is, he should be arrested, and he should. Absolutely should. I mean, this is ridiculous what is going on in this country, and we're supposed to just sit here and act like it's not happening, act like it's not going on, and that's not easy when you're watching the very fabric of your nation just go down the toilet, and that's what's going on. That's what's happening right now. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna make it a quick night. I'm gonna get out of here and get this show. I edit it every night. After it fully processes on YouTube, then I edit out the intro. That way people from then on don't have to watch the intro. They go straight into the show. So I'll get it edited up, and I'm just going to relax a little bit. Maybe in the morning when I get up, I might do a little bit of flying in the simulator. I don't know. Sounds like maybe a good plan. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Like I say, just going to try to relax. I still got to get trash out yet, too. Just remembered that. We'll see what comes tomorrow. So I hope you all have a good night. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.